So I've been here for 3-ish days now officially, and I finally made it. And there isn't a lot of resources online that tell you about, hey, this is how you travel to Vietnam during COVID slash quarantine slash whatever. So I'm actually going to walk you through the process of exactly what I had to do to get through into Vietnam, specifically Saigon, aka Ho Chi Minh City. This is proof that you see that. That's that Vietnamese Aquafina. Exactly when I was stressing out, I was like, there's no information on this. Do a Google research, a couple documents here and there. There's not any official thing. So it ultimately depends on what or where your layovers and where your final destination is, i.e. Vietnam. So I live in Vancouver. I had to go from Vancouver to Narita, Japan, from Narita, Japan, all the way to Ho Chi Minh. Officially, what you need is most important of all before you even go on a trip is you need to make sure that you have your visa, your passport visa, because right now there is no arrival visa, meaning that there isn't some immigration thing that you can go to in person. You need to do this weeks, months in advance. You literally need to, for me, since I am Vietnamese of nationality, I have something called the visa exemption, which allows me to enter the country for more than, not up to 6 months, and I don't have to have a visa. Hence why being VietQ is sometimes a good thing. But fortunately, if you are not of Vietnamese descent, all you need to do is apply online on the official government website so you can get an e-visa and do all the process and pay all the things online. And depending on which country you're from, it can be anywhere from 15 to 30 days, such as a travel visa. That's the most important thing, and making sure that it is documented within your passport. The next thing what you need to do is you need a PCR COVID negative test. And I took the PCR test through a private travel agency, and you need it exactly, the more the better, 72 hours before you depart from your initial flight, so before you arrive into the country. Or if you want to be a little bit more of a daredevil, what you can do is you can do a 24-hour before your departure antigen test. So it just detects your viral load instead of whether or not you're having antibodies or, something with the science like that, And last but not least, I made sure that I had all my vaccinations up to date. I am triple vaxxed from Pfizer, Moderna gang. But you don't really need to be vaccinated, to be honest. And ultimately, what I had to do was, when I was in Vancouver, Canada, I took Air Canada, and they actually checked before I boarded into Japan whether or not I had, one, a visa for Vietnam, and two, whether or not that I had a negative COVID test. And before that, I made sure, I read on the government Vietnamese website, making sure that, hey, I have this. Then I landed in Japan. And in Japan, the air, whatever I was on, the Japanese are very strict about it. Oh man, so that was literally Vancouver. Almost 8 hours going to Japan. Right now I am in Narita. That only took like 8 hours. And now it's gonna be another 8 hours, and people are pretty strict. One thing of traveling is already stressful as is, and now with COVID there's more precautionary measures. So they made sure that you go to the guest layover, whatever desk directory, and they fact checked that you made sure you have your test, negatives, and as well as, I think, from vaccination, but it ultimately depends, but making sure that you have that negative PCR test, as well as a visa, so you can be there when you arrive and not actually have to go through that process. That was very strict in Japan. They're very strict about that. So if you have any layovers that connects you from Japan Japan to Vietnam, or maybe Taipei might be the same situation. You want to make sure you have your PCR test antigen 24-hour on hand. And then the funny part is, once I arrived in Vietnam, they didn't really check. No one really checked they didn't care. So all they cared about was having that visa on arrival or visa within your passport. And I showed my visa exemption on my passport. And I was like, I have my little PCR test here. Do you want to, see this? I put it against the glass and he's like, no. It was so nonchalant. Didn't even check my vaccination status. And I just got waved on through like it was no big deal. So that was the little things that if you are interested in going to Vietnam, don't be so worried about the immigration's checking. Be more worried about the specific airline and the country that you are transferring and having that layover to going into Vietnam. And now I've been here, really chill. People don't even, it's almost like COVID never existed over here, But I'm not here to point any fingers. That was 8 hours flight, 6-hour flight, and your boy is still exhausted. This is like day 2 officially of me having almost a full day. But I'm like, I get like midday, like, man, I'm getting sleepy right now as I'm filming this. I'm getting really sleepy. But so far, I'm still getting acclimated to my place here. I'm going to talk about that in the next video and be like, how much does this actually cost? Is this actually relevant? Did I pay too high, too low? And yeah, that's the process of how I got into Vietnam during COVID times. And now you can too, as restrictions and measures are getting, more chill. Here's to me trying more street food. Hopefully I don't get the bubble guts. Going on a pretty good streak, I hope. But yeah, more about exploring my own Vietnamese culture and my, the environment. And I'm actually forced to speak Vietnamese a lot here more, and I'm actually getting a little bit more, not better per se in terms of, communication, but I'm actually getting more comfortable with speaking tiếng Việt.
Xe á, thì người ta sẽ đẩy cái xe lên trên nhà người ta để luôn. Mình qua bên này mình quay.